Why is it the God of the Old and the New Testament are so different? Aren't they supposed to be the same? Does this mean God has a split personality? There are so many biblical untruths on social media today, and it's growing. We need to work together against this for truth. Click subscribe and the bell notification to join this fight with me. If you could have dinner with anyone throughout history, who would it be? Who would you choose? A lot of people would pick Jesus, and I think you might be the same. He is one of the most interesting people ever. If we are to understand God of the New Testament, then Jesus is the best way to understand him. Even Jesus said through him you get to know the Father. His compassion, his love, you would never be the same again afterwards. However, not too many people would choose God of the Old Testament. If you had dinner with him, you would feel like if you say anything wrong, even leave the dinner at the wrong time, you might just end up with lightning bolts through your head. God of the New Testament is loving. The shortest verse in the Bible is Jesus wept. God of the Old Testament is a moral monster. The verse most remembered of the Old Testament is with the Canaanites, with God saying, smite them or kill them all. God seems to flip a coin and changes how he is in the New Testament. In Deuteronomy 7, God is telling the Israelites to come into the promised land, but the Canaanites are in the way. God says to destroy them totally, to annihilate them all. But hang on. In the very next verse, it says, do not intermarry with them. Can't do this if they're all dead. Not to mention, there are stories of Canaanites afterwards following God and God being merciful to them. Part of the problem is that it's a hyperbole, over-exaggerating a claim to make a point. Like, I've told you 1,000,000 times to clean your room. The whole world has gone crazy. Or Donald Trump saying he knows stuff. Okay, let's step back. Why did God want to get rid of the Canaanites in the first place? The Canaanites were doing evil. Okay, so is the rest of us. However, there was one thing that they were doing that God wanted to stop. The Canaanites were sacrificing their children to the god Molech. They would have a statue in honor of this god, and they made its hands of metal, outstretched over a fire. The children would be sacrificed to this god by putting them on burning hot metal hands. And the hands were angled slightly so that the children would roll slowly into a pit of fire. They would have drums playing so loudly, not for ceremony, not for religious reasons, just so that the parents couldn't hear their children scream. This is horrible. If any nation was doing this today, we would waste no time in sending a huge army to rescue these children with the largest humanitarian effort ever assembled, and no doubt kill everyone in sight that's doing these horrible things. So why can we be immoral, Judge, and not God? In Leviticus 22, say to the Israelites, any Israelite and any foreigner residing in Israel who sacrifices any of his children to Molech is to be put to death. After the Israelites settled into the promised land of Judah, they then fell back into sin and started practicing these sacrifices again. Why is beyond me. Jeremiah 32:35. They built high places for Baal in the valley of Ben Hinnom to sacrifice their sons and daughters to Molech, though I never commanded, nor did it enter my mind that they should do such a detestable thing and so make Judah sin. This is where God steps in yet again and sends in a foreign army and splits up Israel because they are sacrificing children to Molech again. So God has gone in twice to stop this and show people how sinful they have become. Even way before all of this, God was merciful to even let the Canaanites to remain in the land as long as they did. In Genesis 15:16, God told Abraham that his descendants would have to wait 400 years before taking possession of Canaan, for the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet complete. So God was patient in dealing with the Amorites, one of the Canaanite nations, waiting till their evil reached a saturation point. They still had a chance until the point of no return. With this in context, we can look at God of the Old Testament and the New Testament. They are the same. Throughout the Bible, God is a loving, compassionate God that hates evil. Go do something awesome for God. Catch you in the next one. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe. It will help to fight for biblical truth. Also, if you've ever wondered why a unicorn is in the Bible and what it would even look like, click that video just there. And if you want to see what YouTube thinks is the best video for you to watch, then click that one over there. Who would have thought it's one of mine?